Okay, guys, I'm going to show you the turn throw. This is called, you can call it front headlock turn throw, underhook front throw. This is just a turning throw made on the rail. Back in the day, during the HMB days, this was just called the rail throw. And it's because it's a throw you're going to use against the rail, using the rail as a support. So anytime I'm fighting someone straight on, I can use this technique. It can be done from an underhook position, here controlling his shoulders, or it can be done from a headlock, again controlling his head and his posture. The key points of this that are for me are that I want to create a wedge under his hips, just like hump and bump. So I'm going to step into his space, and I'm going to turn my hips into him and bump this hip out of place, thereby making it easier to pull his shoulders down. Because if I don't, I just try to do it like this, everyone is strong like this. If I was just trying to do this to Kettle like this, he could probably just stand up and I'm not going to be very efficient. It's going to be a waste of energy. You can do this from two hands on. I don't really like that, but lots of people do it. They'll go like this, and then they'll start their throw. I don't like that because people can make connections on you, and it'll turn into a simo, and you'll both fall down. Especially if they have a two-handed axe, they just connect their hands around you. So if I did like this, I want to throw him, we're probably both going to go down. So I really like having something to where I stop his hands from connecting. Usually, because I'm left-handed, I'll perform, this is my torso or head connection, and then my shield hand stops his hands from connecting. So if we're doing it like this, I would stop his hands from connecting. So I'll come up with this. I'll basically create this wedge, and then I physically stop his hands from connecting around me as I perform my throw. We'll do it this way because might see how strong. So I'm going to create a wedge on the kettle. Couple different ways you can get advantage when you're doing this technique is if I have a typical collar tie and a connection behind my opponent's head. This doesn't give me a lot of power to be able to pull his head down and turn. That's basically just bicep curling someone's head. Two options I have. From here, I can push my hand forward and leave my frame. And when I do that, I have more length to where I can get more acceleration to snap his head down. So if I'm sitting in this clinch position, I just extend and then pop their head down. As I do this, I'm doing that as I'm bumping their head. So I might be like this, I'll push my hand, and I'll do this. Second option, I can be fighting with my opponent as we're clinching. So say Kettle's trying to grab my van brace or something. I can push his arm out, extend my arm all the way out, and then clothesline them in the head in a circular movement as I turn. So from here, I typically will start by bumping once by bringing this back foot up. Kettle, stand. This is actually fine. So I'm going to be here, bringing my back foot up. I'm going to bring it up basically between Kettle's legs. And because I bring my back foot up, I bring my hips forward, and I want to push his hips back. So if Kettle's standing pretty straight up, I'm going to bump his hips as I am performing this snap down. Once I bump his hips, here, I have two finishes. I want to get this leg forward a bit. That way I can block his ankle and his shin. And then I just rotate by looking this way. And I want to bring his head with me. So I basically am just going to rotate and look at the wall, turning my shoulders downwards. So if I have my opponent, I simply go across my body and look at the opposite wall. Other option is when they resist, they're going to want to stand up. And when that happens, we do an Osoto or we do an off the rail throw. So we're going to have down the rail, off the rail, and then behind. And it doesn't really matter, but it's still a throw. So maybe I do the same thing. I go like this. He goes to resist and wants to stand up. Kettle's try to stand up. Because he's standing up, I'm going to keep pulling his arm, this arm, while pushing his head, blocking his outside foot, and pushing him over. I would not recommend going across the knee because you can injure them. Also, when you're pulling them forward, I'd also not recommend on the knee, only because you'll actually create a fulcrum that makes it easier for them to stand up. So if I'm doing this where I'm pulling Kettle's arm and turning his head, and I want to throw Kettle, if I go like this, and I even just put my foot here, and I try to pull him over, I'm actually creating stability, and I create stability because his shin can't move forward. If his shin can't move forward, it means his body weight isn't going forward. So if I'm like this and I'm trying to pull Kettle, he's actually pretty strong. But literally if I just let his shin move forward and block his foot, their weight comes forward much more easier. I know that when someone does it to me and they go to my knee, it helps me stand up a lot easier. So I like aiming here next to their shin, and just, you really want their shin to move forward so that their weight just keeps moving forward. So I can go sideways snap with a clothesline. I can extend my arm and then kind of do like a shotgun snap down. At the same time, I really would like control of this outside arm. I don't technically need it. Technically, I could just have my hand framing on his hand. As long as I go like this, and I'm stopping his hands from connecting, that's perfectly fine. It just helps if they're really big and they don't want to come forward, if I can grab their arm and pull them. Because when I do the throw, I can pull from both sides and really turn their shoulders and make them fall over. So we'll do it one more time. So Kevin and I are clinching. I bring my back foot up and bump his hips. As I turn, I'm going to look the opposite way. Blocking the foot is a tertiary thing, and it's just a nice thing to happen because I can still do this throw without actually blocking his foot. And I go down with him. I point my head at the ground and extend my arms on his body to help me stand up. Okay? Optimally, I want to land beside him. That way he can't simo me. So say I do it from the underhook, where I'm not controlling his frames and he has connections around my head. When I do this, he's going to have a very high chance of simoing with me. I need to make sure the circle comes off my head. So we're like this, I go here, and land just like that, perpendicular to him. This is a classic Fluhrt move. It's very good to have in your toolkit so that you can attack in all directions.